Some of the biggest mistakes people make don't happen because they spoke to the wrong person. They happen because they spoke too much. Today we're discussing the power of silence and why learning to keep some things to yourself can completely change your life.
Maturing is realizing that silence at times is power. You don't have to participate in every conversation. You don't have to add your 2 cents to every conversation. You don't have to have a voice in every situation. It's okay to leave some things left unsaid. It's okay to just be quiet. It's okay to observe. It's okay. It's okay. That is a part of developing and growing and maturing. It's okay. Silence is golden. We actually take it for granted. You can just be mute. You can keep your thoughts and ideas here, but you don't have to share everything. Yeah, so I'm practicing that. You should too. Okay? I love you.
As you get older, you definitely understand that silence should be the only answer. You don't need to go back and forth. You do not need to explain yourself. You do not need to crash out. Remove your presence. Start talking less.
I feel like a lot of women forget that when someone does you wrong and you give them a big reaction and you demand an explanation, or when you need them to walk you through why they acted a certain way, you're not going to get closure and you're never going to understand. Ultimately, you're just feeding your ego. And the thing that no one ever wants to admit is that the only reason you really want an explanation is because you would never do the thing that they did. So again, you're never going to understand because you might think that understanding it might make it hurt less. It won't. Their behavior is about them, not about you. So the only thing you could do is make it really easy for them. Say nothing. You don't need to demand respect from people who aren't giving it to you freely in the first place. And a high value woman would never stand there and try to convince someone that what they did was disrespectful. She simply pulls back her energy and lets her silence speak for itself. Just trust me, especially a man, silence will shake them far more than your words ever could. You will not be forgotten. You are not invisible. And seriously, if you think about it, why should you ever miss someone or need to understand someone who has your phone number and can pick up the phone and call you or text you if they want to? Just because you would apologize, just because you would fix it because you are genuinely a good person, because you have a conscience, does not mean that other people operate at that level. People with self-respect know how to walk away because people with self-respect trust their feelings and they don't pretend that things are fine when they're not. So don't forget, silence is powerful and you don't need to perform your worth for anyone.
When the disrespect was so bad, you didn't even say anything. You just walked away and never spoke to them again. People think you left because you didn't care. But really, you left because you cared too much. You cared enough to know that if you stayed, you'd keep getting hurt. And at some point, your silence wasn't weakness. It was self-respect. Because not everything needs a reaction. Some things just need a decision. And you made yours quietly. No long message. No closure talk. No explaining yourself. You just chose you. And I know that wasn't easy because a part of you probably wanted to say something, right? You wanted to defend yourself, to be understood, but deep down you knew they already saw you. I mean, how many conversations had y'all already had about it before? They just didn't treat you right anyway. So you just stopped arguing with what was clear. How many times did you ignore your own feelings just to keep the peace? Walking away like that, that's growth. That's choosing peace over proving a point. And even if they never understand why you left, you do. And that's enough.
Not everything deserves a response. One of the highest forms of self-confidence is knowing when to remain silent. You don't have to win every argument, you don't have to explain every decision, you don't have to correct every misunderstanding. Sometimes protecting your peace is more important than proving a point.
The closer you get to God, the more private you will become in your life. You will not be so quick to share like everything on social media or run and tell your business to everybody. You'll learn that your healing journey is even sacred and it's not something to share with everybody. You'll learn that a lot of things are just for you and God. This may look like going on trips and not telling anybody. Taking pictures just for you and not posting them on social media because you're experiencing the moment and the trip, the ambiance, everything with God, and it's not for everybody to see. You will celebrate yourself in silence. You will experience things in solitude. You will rejoice and still be reserved because you know you have nothing to prove. You will also learn that everything is not for everybody. Some moments are just for you and God. You used to depend on the gathering of others to validate what the moment meant to you and how special it was to you. Then you'll stop inviting everybody and just do things alone because you don't need others to experience these beautiful moments with you. And this, what I'm explaining, is where your power truly lies.
Here's one of the best tips that I can give my people who struggle with setting boundaries, especially my pure-hearted people. Silence. One of the best ways to set boundaries is by learning how to be quiet, especially when it comes to your personal business and your plans. See, here's the thing. When you're a pure-hearted person, you're an open book. And there are many times where you are vulnerable. And where we go wrong many times is thinking and assuming people have the same pure heart as us. But even those family and friends are some of the very people that you're going to have to start being quiet around, especially when it comes to your personal business, when you're revealing, what you're going through emotionally, revealing personal information about yourself, your fears, your insecurities, your relationship issues. You see, those people that you're revealing that information to can only try to tear you down, bring that up, sabotage you, bash you, talk about you, get in the way, try to steal what you have, and all of that. When you reveal that information, you have to be silent. Reason being, people don't know how to attack you when they don't know so much about you and they don't know your plans. People don't know how to take advantage of you or use you when they don't know so much about you and your plans. And I know it can be hard because you feel like your family and friends and the closest people to you are the very people that you're supposed to be able to trust. But when you notice those same people are the people who take advantage of you, they are the same people who use you in many instances. They're the same people who try to sabotage you. You have to be mindful even when they're your very own family. A lot of times we let a lot of things slide, or we give people the benefit of the doubt because they're our family or they're the closest to us, especially when you have a pure heart. We're so forgiving. We forgive and we forgive and we forgive. But you have to set boundaries. And being silent is setting a boundary. You have to keep some of your stuff to yourself, especially in situations where God blesses you with extra money. He increases your finances. And you have those people around you, your close people, friends and family who always ask you for money, always borrowing money, but never paying you back. Although they promise they're going to pay you back. And you notice those times when you're in need, they can't help you. They're not around. They have every excuse in the book. Yet you're always free-hearted and open to help them because you come from a pure place. You're pure-hearted. And that's exactly why you need to be silent. When you get blessed with those extra finances, that promotion, you have to be silent. Keep that to yourself. That blessing is from God for you. And see, they can't ask you for money or they don't know you got it if you don't tell them. I know we get excited and we want to tell our good news to people, but everyone doesn't mean you well. And when you notice a pattern with people taking advantage and using you and trying to sabotage you, regardless of who they are, you have to learn how to be silent when it comes to your blessings and your plans.
I don't know if you guys know this, but the quiet ones after disrespect, yeah, those are the ones you should never underestimate. Because, see, most people think silence is weakness. They think, oh, they didn't react. They didn't say anything, so I got away with that. No, you didn't. You didn't get away with anything. You just got observed. And that is the part that people miss. When someone doesn't immediately react to disrespect, it doesn't mean that they didn't feel it. It means that they processed it. They clocked the tone, the behavior, the pattern, all of it. And now they are moving differently. See, loud reactions, those are easy. That is emotion, that is impulse. But controlled silence, that, friend, is awareness. That is self-respect, and that is power. Especially if you've ever dealt with narcissistic behavior, manipulation, or emotional abuse. You learn real quick that not every battle deserves your response. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is say absolutely nothing and quietly remove access. No arguments, no explanation, no second chances. And that is what makes it scary, because by the time they realize what they lost, you are already gone, healed, and not looking back. If you're learning how to protect your peace and move smarter, not louder, hit follow. You are in the right place, friend, because around here, friends, we are all healing out loud together.
Sometimes people are simply curious, sometimes they want entertainment, and sometimes the more information you give, the more opportunities you create for criticism, judgment, and unnecessary opinions. Silence doesn't mean you're secretive, it means you're selective. It means you've learned that your life doesn't need a public announcement for every decision that you make.
You can have nice things, but you can't really have nice things without expecting people to feel some type of way about it. Like if you get a promotion, or if you, I don't know, buy a really pretty new purse that's like designer, or, if you're like buying a new house, or just like, any type of win, really. Like, I know that your friends and family are supposed to be happy for you, but it's hard. Like, it's natural to be envious and to feel some type of way when someone has something that you would like. So you can't really enjoy things, or like you can, but just know that it comes at a cost, and that it's really hard for people to be happy for you unless they already have those things. If they don't, they are probably the wrong audience for you to be sharing this good news with. So if you're ever not sure what you can talk about with someone, I feel like it's just easier to talk about things that other people can actually relate to. And even if you're trying to find some way for you to like bond with that person, or just find some common interest or what have you, it's just not going to work unless they have that same life experience, or they have that same thing that you can both bond over. Otherwise, no matter how like mature or like subtle they are, or like whatever, no matter how like close you are with them, people are just people, and like it's inevitably going to make them feel like kind of shitty about themselves. So yeah, if you have nice things, you can't really share it with people that don't have nice things. Otherwise, it's insensitive.
One lesson life teaches over and over again is that not everyone who listens is actually rooting for you. A lot of people are jealous of you. A lot of people are jealous that you have nice things and good things are happening to you. Some people even want those things for themselves, so it's best to just not share.
Let's talk about how to become a more private person, because some of you need a lesson. There's some people in my comments talking about, how do I stop oversharing? That is a diabolical problem to have. Let me help you, because my qualifications are nobody knows my business. This is especially important at work to protect your reputation, but also if you're trying to level up in any way, shape, or form, you want to move in silence to protect what it is you're working on. First thing is, you have to learn how to become vague. People do not deserve all of the details about your life. That belongs to you. So if someone's asking, how have you been? You don't have to go through your diary. You can just say something like, I've been good, I've been chilling, I've been working. Keep it vague. You don't have to go into the details, or have an idea of what you're willing to share and what you're not willing to share. If you've ever struggled with people gossiping about your private life, that's because you share your information with too many people. Okay, you need to keep your inner circle tight. That can be one person, it could be two people, maybe three people. But once you go past that, your information is getting out there. These people have to be extremely trustworthy, and there can be no leaks in your camp. I know there's no leaks in my camp. If people want to know information about me, you're not going to get it, because the people who I share with are extremely trustworthy. That brings me to my next point, which is that people are going to make things up about you if you are a private person. That's because there are insecure people out there. There are people who thrive off of drama and gossip. And if they don't know a lot about you, they try to fill in the gaps with just their own imagination. And so I know I'm okay with it, but if you become a super private person, you're going to have to be okay with it too. So think about celebrities who are very private, like Beyonce or Zendaya. People make things up about them all the time, and they don't care. They're just living their life, and they value their privacy, so they're not fighting people to get the truth out there. They know the truth, and that's all that matters.
You talk too much. The times you need to be quiet, you need to just shh. Be quiet. Be quiet during a heated argument. Yelling
yelling, screaming, responding in anger can escalate things. Silence allows your emotions to just cool down and settle. Be quiet when you don't have all the facts. Talking too much when you don't have all the information can lead to misinformation and regret. Be quiet. Be quiet when an apology won't change anything. If words can't fix the situation, it's better to just show your changes through actions. Be quiet when someone is venting emotionally. Let them get it out. Sometimes people just need to be heard, not given advice or opinions. These are some times that you need to just hush. Shh. Be quiet. Be quiet when you're being provoked. Staying silent when someone is trying to manipulate you or insult you is robbing that person of their power. Be quiet when someone does not value your opinion. There's no use in trying to explain yourself to someone who won't listen or who just doesn't care about your opinion or respect it at all. Be quiet when you're overwhelmed with emotion. You need to just hush. Speaking or saying things when you're too emotional or just overly emotional might lead to you saying something that you might later regret. And the thing about words is once you say them, once you spew out the word, you cannot take them back. So once you say that, that's it. So just be careful what you say when you're overwhelmed with emotions. Just let yourself calm down emotionally and then say what you got to say. Once you've thought things through using your logic, not emotions. Be quiet when you're around gossipers, people who gossip too much, talk too much. You don't want to be involved in this unnecessary drama or conflict. And you might get pulled in if you talk too much while other people are talking. Let them talk, you stay out of it. Stop talking. Be quiet when your silence creates like mystery or even strength. Sometimes when you're quiet, when you're just silent, it gives the appearance that you're more in control and more confident. You don't have to just yap and talk all the time. Just be quiet. Be quiet when your words hurt more than help. Not everything needs to be said. Some things, even if they're true, are best kept just to yourself. Okay, sometimes things, even if they're true, are best just kept to yourself or private. Not everything needs to be shared with everybody all the time. You need to hush. Be quiet when silence is the best response to negativity. Don't feed into the negativity. It's okay to withdraw. You're not giving up, you're just being the bigger person. Ignoring toxic people prevents them from draining your energy. It's for you, not for them. Be quiet when you're being observed in a new environment. Listening more than talking helps you understand the situation before you engage. All right? Sometimes people are watching you. Okay? Let them watch you. Watch them too. Observe them before you say anything. That's your problem. You talk too much. Read the room. Feel the situation out before you say anything. Until then, they can just wonder. You need to master the art of silence. It's a powerful tool to be able to control yourself, to be able to mastery, to be able to understand things more. Silence is such a strong, powerful tool. It helps you grow. It helps you with relationships and helps you be in control. Anywho, love you. I'll talk to you later.
So years ago, I worked for this really big company. I was young and just kind of getting started in my career. And I used to sit across from this lady in a cubicle, and her name was Kim. Shout out to Kim if you're watching. Hi, Kim. Kim was real cool. I used to ask her a lot of questions. Honestly, I probably got on Kim's nerves a little bit, but she was super sweet and helped me grow a lot. Anyway, when I needed help, like filling out paperwork or supporting one of my stakeholders or dealing with technology, I would get up from my cubicle and walk all the way around to her cubicle and ask her a question. In her cubicle, Kim had a printed sign, and on that sign it said, "Silence is golden." And I will see that sign every day and be like, okay, well, that's interesting. Okay, well, I'm not going to ask her about it. It's none of my business. And so I see it every day. Silence is golden. Then one day I had the courage. I just said, Kim, I see this sign in your cubicle every single day. What does this mean? Silence is golden. And she turned around and looked at me and said, I had to learn that everything that happens to me doesn't deserve a response. I had to learn that everyone who offended me or disrespected me didn't need to be checked and corrected. I had to learn that my peace was more important than being right, or my peace was more important than addressing every little thing that came my way. So I put this sign in my cubicle to remind me that silence is golden. Now, keep in mind, by now, y'all know a little bit about my personality. You know that I'm very direct. And if you've watched my videos on mentorship, you know that I was coached for 2 years on gracefulness, like how to say things. So at this time, I was addressing everybody that needed to be addressed, checking everything that needed to be checked, saying exactly what I wanted to say. and I had no peace. Almost a decade later, I still think about that. I still think about Kim. I still think about that cubicle. I still think about that sign. I think about how much wisdom she had, how she put something in place to help her manage herself. Like she was demonstrating self-control, but she put things up to remind her that her peace cannot be compromised. That was one of the biggest life lessons that I've ever learned, and I'm here to share it with you. If you have that personality where you feel like you need to check everything and address everything and handle every situation, and you have no peace, I want you to know silence is golden. You're going to have to learn how to keep your mouth shut. You're going to have to learn how to pick your battle. You can address things respectfully, but everything is not worth your peace. Another thing is silence diffuses a lot. Sometimes you got to let people argue with themselves. Sometimes you got to let people be foolish by themselves. A lot of times silence will get them to self-discover what you want to say anyway. So just know that peace is more important than everything.
Yes, babe, of course I do. I'm going to give you 4 tips on how to stop oversharing, but you should know why you need to stop oversharing first. If you want people to take you seriously, stop oversharing. Here's why. Every time you tell a stranger your whole life story, you're teaching them that you don't value your privacy. Oversharing makes you look insecure, like you're begging for validation. And here's the worst part. Oversharing is self-gossip. You're literally gossiping, but you're gossiping about yourself. You're spreading your own business in a way that makes you lose respect for yourself. Not everyone deserves access to your mind, to your past, your pain. Silence is power. Boundaries are respect. 1, pause before you speak. If you're about to say something personal, count to 3 in your head. If it feels awkward in the silence, it probably shouldn't be shared. 2, answer short and direct. When someone asks, "How are you?" you don't need your life story. Stick to, "I'm good, thanks." 3, replace talking with listening. The less you reveal, the more powerful you seem. Ask questions instead of filling in the space with your own details. 4, keep your circle small. Only share deeper parts of your life with people who have proven that you can trust them. Strangers don't need the VIP access pass. Silence is not weakness, it's respect for yourself. You don't have to talk all the time. Sometimes just be quiet and listen. You learn so much more like that. If you want to stop oversharing, remember this. What you don't say speaks louder than what you do. If you're going to stop oversharing, if you're working on stopping oversharing, put a shh in the chat. Write the shh emoji in the chat if you're going to be quiet and stop oversharing. Share this with your bestie who overshares. Share this with them and say nothing. Repost this if you agree, and let me know in the comments what you think, your experience with oversharing. Anywho, I love you.
Remember, silence isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Not everything needs to be explained, announced, or shared with the world. The people who move the smartest often move the quietest. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments which one thing you've learned to keep private as a person as you've grown older. Until next time, protect your peace and choose your words wisely.